What is the second thing I would do differently if I were going to college today? I would attend only one college. Hi, I'm Passion Darby, and over the next month, I am going to be sharing with you 31 things I would do differently if I were going to college today. And today is Thing 2, January 2nd, 2024. So, if I were going to college today, and based on the knowledge that I have today, 31 years later, after I left for college in 1993, I would attend only one college. So I was fortunate, I feel, because I did not only attend one historically black college, I actually attended three. I began my college education at Philander Smith College. It's now Philander Smith University. I'm so proud of them. And that college is located in Little Rock, Arkansas. At that time, I was desperate to go to college. I would have gone to almost any college as long as it was outside of my hometown because I wanted to go away to school. And I went to Philander and had an exceptional first year there. The people were probably some of the best people I've ever met in my life, and they are still great people today. So I'm grateful for my 1 year at Philander, but as I learned more about the college experience and what I should expect from the college experience, I realized that Philander Smith did not have my major, it did not offer my major, which was at the time, um, I would say television production or journalism because I wanted to be a newscaster. So once I realized they didn't have my major, I knew I had to transfer. Although I really enjoyed my time at Philander, I was very successful at Philander. And again, I met people there that I'm still in contact with and I admire so much. When I tell you I met the best people at Philander, both as students and administrators, it's the truth. So I then transferred to Alabama State University in Montgomery, Alabama, because they had a communications major, and my parents actually met there. So I felt comfortable transferring to that institution, and I felt like I would at least be able to study my major there. And then at what I would say about my experience at Alabama State, why it was valuable to me is because that is where I met professors who told me how talented I was and what my talents and skills were. I kind of knew, but they really solidified those things for me and they celebrated my achievements and just made me know that I could do special things in the world. And my first publication was actually published by my history professor at Alabama State University. So um, the issue was that I wanted to be a newscaster, and I had begun to hear rumblings amongst the HBCU populations. And after I attended Freaknik, but that's a whole nother video, that Clark Atlanta University not only offered my major, but they had a television studio and a radio studio and a film studio. So stay with me because there's some lessons in this. So I went to tour Clark Atlanta University with a friend of mine who was enrolled there. And she was also a mass media arts major at the time. And so she gave me an exceptional 5 day tour. And I just fell in love with Clark Atlanta. And I also knew that I would be graduated in 2 years and I needed some sort of newscasting experience. So I decided to transfer to Clark Atlanta University so that I can get that hands-on training that their campus resources offered. So that is what I got from Clark Atlanta. When I went to Clark Atlanta University, it was a really prime time for Black media, Black radio, Black music, Black television, Black films, Black videos, Black everything. And so I was in the perfect spot for me to learn mass media arts. What happened at Clark is that I learned that I was a better writer. So I started focusing on television writing and digital, well, I would say storytelling at the time. With video, it wasn't digital at the time, but now it's digital storytelling. So I got a lot out of Clark. And when I graduated from Clark, I felt equipped to go into the mass media arts field. So With that, I ended up being a student of three historically Black colleges and graduating from Clark Atlanta University, a historically Black university. So, what I feel I missed out on by transferring, however, and if you hear rumblings of the papers of a paper, that's because I have notes. But one of the things that Black colleges do exceptionally well is orientation. So I noticed that as I transferred those two times and then finally landed at Clark, that orientation week is so important. It's so important. And when you have orientation week at a Black college, by the end of the week, you feel like you've known those people for the rest of your lives. I mean, for your entire lives. So to transfer and leave those people is very hard. And particularly when I left Philander, I missed those people. I can't even put it into words. I miss those people so dearly, and that's probably why I'm still in contact with so many of them today. So I miss them because that first week at Philander was so impacting to me that really the other orientations, while fun, shout out to Clark Atlanta, that nobody does orientation like them, while they were fun, they never compared to the bonds that I made with the people during orientation week at Philander Smith College. Then college is a university now, like I said earlier. So that's one of the things that I feel I missed out on, being able to graduate with those same people who I made those bonds with during my freshman year. The next thing that I feel like I missed out, well, I don't think I missed out on this because my father pre-warned me about this, and I'll talk to you all about that later. But my credit, most of my credits did transfer. I think all of my credits transferred. But again, how great would it have been if I would have started my coursework with the same people, or matriculated through my coursework with the same people that I started my freshman year with, or I went to freshman orientation class with. That would have been great. Also, I feel like me transferring did not develop the commitment skills in me that I think are important for young people and for older people now. Because I was just thinking, okay, well, I know Philander has been exceptionally good to me, and Alabama State went on to be good to me, but I'm going to go to the school that's best for me. So I feel like, and that's okay because it's your tuition dollars. But at the same time, I wish I had committed to just one school, because being a committed student is very important, especially when a school is good to you or a college is good to you. And then what else? The connections and the bonds you make. I talked about this a little earlier. Um, Now I have connections and bonds with people from three different schools. And sometimes I actually forget who I, which ones I share which memories with and things like that. So that can be challenging. So if I had it to do over again, if I knew what I know today and I would leave them for college today, I would just attend one college and I would stick to it and I would commit to it and I would graduate from it. So, here's some things you can do to avoid the error that I feel like I made. And I guess I shouldn't call it an error because obviously that's what was meant for me to happen, because to have happened because it worked out and I didn't miss a beat. I still graduated on time. I still did all the fun things and I still met wonderful people at each institution. Let's see. The first thing you can learn from my choices or uninformed choices is that well, something that you can do is when you are getting ready to go to college, make a list of the resources and the opportunities that you want from that college, and make the list for all 4 years. Don't just do your freshman year, do all 4 years, because Philander Smith met my first year, my freshman year um, desires, but I didn't even check to see if they had a my major. I didn't even check if they had a news studio or television studio or anything like that. I was just happy to be there. So you need to make a plan. You need to, not a plan, a list. We'll get to the plan. You need to make a list of the resources you want from that college and make sure that that college can meet your needs all 4 years, or even 2 years if you're going off to graduate school or something like that, or even to a community college. The next thing you should do is, then once you have your list, research that institution and make sure it provides every single resource. Let me repeat that. Every single resource. Why would you pay tuition dollars and you can't get every single resource that you need to transition into the workforce, or transition into entrepreneurship, or graduate with the skill set that you want? Make sure you're getting your money's worth. If that school cannot provide you with every resource, another option is to see if that school is affiliated with another institution that can provide you that resource. So that's an option. The third thing is tour the campus prior to enrolling to make sure that it is a good match resource wise. So don't just look at their brochure or these days their website. Go and make sure they have not only good resources but top resources, the top of the line. That's one of the things that made me attracted to Clark Atlanta. When I got there, I was like, whoa, they have everything here. And the cameras were state of the art, and the radio station, was very popular at the time. So I was blown away by those resources. And but I will tell you that I toured Philander Smith prior to me going there as a student, and that is what caught me up. I fell in love. It was love at first sight. So I fell in love with Philander during the tour, and I forgot that I should have also been asking about my major, but that's a whole nother story. So tour the campus if you can before you are enrolled, so you can make sure it's actually a good match. Number four, create a matriculation plan and make sure that you select the campus that can meet the expectation for the entire matriculation plan. So if you plan to go to grad school, make sure that campus can, or that college can get you where you want to be, or wherever you want to be. Make sure it can get you there. Number five, make sure the college offers your major and your minor, and even specializes in your major and your minor. Is important. So again, one of the reasons why I chose Clark, because at that time, chose Clark the third time, is because they were the specialists in radio, television, film. They had a reputation for being the specialists in that industry in terms of college prep, well, in terms of institutions. So they didn't just have the major, because Alabama State University had the major. So if it was just about the major, I could have just stayed there and been very, very happy at Alabama State. It was a great school. But Clark had the specialization, and they had already produced stellar film, television, and radio professionals. So keep that in mind. Number six. Let's see. Spend your time completing transferable courses in case you actually do end up transferring, because you can't get, nothing's guaranteed. So if you go and you think it's a great school, and then you get there and you're like, oh, they don't have this, or they can't offer me this, or they no longer offer what they said they offered when I applied. That's happened to me before too. Um, you can still transfer without losing a beat. And so when my father dropped me off actually at Philander Smith College, that's a bit of advice he gave me in the car before he left that I never forgot. He gave me two or three pieces of advice that I never forgot, but that was one of them. He said, in case you decide to leave here next year, only take transferable courses. And I remembered that, and I did that, and it worked. So think about that. Take my dad's advice. Number seven, spend time communicating with the college administrators and see if they treat you with respect pre-arrival. Pre-arrival. And if these are people that you feel like you can talk to for 4+ years, that is very important. Again, one of the things that sucked me into Philander Smith College is that everybody was so nice. I just was overwhelmed with love during my tour. I was floating on air. Everybody was so kind. They picked me up from the train station and all of these things. It was just wonderful. So I was thinking to myself, I could be here for 4 years. If this is what it is, I can definitely be here for 4 years. So some of the things you can do to kind of test that, call them. Call them and see, how do they answer the telephone? Um, how long are you on hold? If you left a message, a voice message, or you sent an email to a faculty or administrator, how long did it take them to get back to you? And think about, how you want to be treated, and then just test them pre-arrival. So give it about 6 months of testing to see how they're going to treat you upon being a student there. Don't tell them that you're coming, because then they might treat you differently just because they want to impress you. But just call on a normal day and just ask to speak to someone and see how you're handled, and see if that is something that you can tolerate for 4 years, or in my case, enjoy for 4 years. So that's my advice for you to avoid not being able to attend one school, one college, if that's what you decide to do. And if you want to know the third thing that I would do differently if I were going to college today, please subscribe, and I will post that video tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching, and please go to college.